They were waiting for me at customs. Yeah, I'm at the Rutherford County Jail in Tennessee. I'm sick. They won't give me a blanket. I'm in the cell. It's super cold.
What you just heard was a collect call from the county jail in Tennessee from Cody Detweiler, aka WhistlinDiesel. I cannot believe I'm telling you this, but he was arrested yet again last night by the state of Tennessee. I'm America's Attorney. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. There will be more news about Cody's situation, which I've been covering extensively in the very near future. I actually plan to make a video about Cody today. I wanted to talk about why I thought he should sue the state of Tennessee for his illegal arrest from 2025. But here we are, and it's 2026, and he's been arrested yet again. What I'd like to do now is head back to the studio and break down these new charges.
Whew, okay, this is better. Back in my natural habitat. Okay, so as you already know, Cody Detweiler, better known as YouTuber WhistlinDiesel, is currently facing 2 charges of felony tax evasion regarding his Ferrari F8. And if you didn't already know that, it's okay that you're lost, little buddy. Just click here, and it'll all make sense in just a little while. Now, let's talk about what we don't know and why this second arrest. If you're standing, please sit. Williamson County is charging Cody and his company again. Felony tax evasion 2.0. This time for unpaid sales tax on the purchase of a Mercedes G-Wagon. That's right. It's the exact same criminal charge, but for a different vehicle. The charges are brought under Tennessee Code Annotated Section 67-11440G, which makes it a felony to willfully evade state taxes exceeding $500. Detweiler was booked, processed, and released the same day on bond. And if he's convicted on all counts, the 2 for the Ferrari and the 2 for the G-Wagon, he faces potentially years in prison, not for theft, not for fraud against the victim, but for a disputed tax obligation. And here's where this case immediately goes off the rails. For the second time, Detweiler says he was never contacted by the Tennessee Department of Revenue, no assessment, no notice, no demand letter, no opportunity to dispute the amount or pay it, nothing. Instead, the state went from silence straight to felony charges. Again. What makes this one worse, I think, is the timeline. Because the first alleged tax issue regarding the Ferrari dates back to early 2023. But this time, the car purchase was in 2022, in the summertime. If the state believes taxes were owed then, why wait years before acting? And then skip every civil remedy available. Now, we already know more or less how this happened. The G-Wagon, just like the Ferrari, was titled through Montana LLC, and that's not some obscure loophole used by one person. Montana does not charge sales tax on vehicle purchases. As a result, thousands of people, including business owners, collectors, and content creators, form Montana LLCs to hold vehicles legally. Legally! Montana law allows it. The LLC is real. The registration is valid. And once the plates are issued, other states are required to recognize them unless fraud can be proven. That's why Montana has one of the highest vehicle-to-resident ratios in the country, including a staggering number of luxury and exotic vehicles, some of which are burned or cut up on YouTube, normal. But states like Tennessee argue that if a vehicle is primarily used or garaged in their state, then local taxes still apply, regardless of where it's registered. Tennessee insists that this setup amounts to tax evasion. Montana says it's lawful. Resolving that conflict should happen in civil tax proceedings, not criminal court. To convict someone of felony tax evasion, the state has to prove more than non-payment. They must prove willfulness, meaning a voluntary, intentional violation of a known legal duty. In plain English, the defendant must know that the tax is owed and actively try to evade it. That's hard to prove when the legal obligation itself is disputed. The vehicle was used for business content, the vehicle traveled across multiple states, and the vehicle was ultimately destroyed in 2023. The G-Wagon wasn't a commuter car, it wasn't a daily driver. It was purchased for content and used as content, and then sold in scrap pieces. The vehicle was never settled into some long-term use in Tennessee, and it didn't remain in existence long enough to form the basis of a traditional garage location analysis. So, what exactly is the state claiming? That Detweiler knowingly owed Tennessee sales tax on a vehicle which he bought to destroy, used for business, and eventually eliminated, and that he formed an LLC solely to hide from taxes? That's a civil argument. Actually, that's a silly argument. But it's not a criminal one. In a typical tax case, the process looks like this. 1, notice of proposed assessment. 2, time to contest or pay. 3, final demand, and 4, civil collection remedies. Only after repeated non-compliance does criminal enforcement even possibly come into play. According to Detweiler, once again, none of those 4 steps happened here. Guys, we have to stop pretending that this case is about neutral tax enforcement. It's not. This case exists because Williamson County wanted yet another headline, not a payment. They didn't pick Cody Detweiler at random. They picked him because he's loud.
Sounds familiar.
famous and impossible to ignore. He's been vocal about his first set of charges, and chances are he'll be just as vocal about this set of charges. I hope he is, in compliance with the judge's gag order, of course. Williamson County has been watching high-dollar vehicles roll through with Montana plates for years. They know the loophole exists. They know that thousands of people use it. But instead of fixing the problem legislatively or handling it through routine civil tax assessments, they decided to send a message. And messages work better when the defendant is recognizable. And they work best when you've already had legal issues with the defendant in the past. The same defendant. Detweiler wasn't just convenient. This is personal. He has embarrassed law enforcement in the past. He's mocked authority. He's built a brand on doing things his own way and getting away with it. And that makes him exactly the kind of defendant a county would love to make an example out of. Arrest him publicly. Charge him criminally. Skip the paperwork that everyone else gets. Let the spectacle do the work. Try to humiliate him, right? This prosecution isn't about collecting what may be like $8,000 to $10,000 or $12,000 in sales tax. If it were, the state would have sent a letter. He literally could just Venmo them the money. This is about deterrence through fear. And if I haven't been completely clear, this case is complete garbage. Cody, please, you need to sue them. Hey guys, drop your pro se opinion down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts on Detweiler's most recent arrest and charges. Do you think a civil lawsuit is past due? If you do, make sure you lawyer up with me, America's attorney, by hitting that subscribe button, because I had a long conversation with Cody about his legal options, which I can't tell you about, but I can tell you what his rights are. And if you want to know, hit the subscribe button. I'll be back soon with a video about the legal claims that Cody could pursue against Williamson County if he wants to. And I will see you soon. Bye. Get out of here. No, just kidding. We got, what do they call them? Bloopers. The bloopers. Here they are. You thought I didn't know? No, I know the bloopers are in there. Montana does not charge sales tax on, Montana does not Charles. Look, in a typical tax, but instead of fixing the problem legislatively or handling it through routine, that was insane.